Hello, welcome back to this series that I'm doing with the spreads of tarot decks. So having a look and exploring some of the books to give you an idea of how beneficial our guidebooks can be when we receive them, when we buy a new deck. So let's have a look. We've got Tarot of the Divine here. Beautiful tarot deck. And of course it's got that book Beneath the Moon, which I never got, but it is beautiful, which is inspired by deities, folklore, and fairy tales from around the world. It's beautifully done, beautifully created. It does have, like I said, it does have that, it does, if you want to dive a little deeper into the myths and the legends and the stories. I think it's really worth getting that book Beneath the Moon if you want to dive a little deeper. Now, it does have some spreads in the book. It does have a one-card spread, a yes and no, or as a general forecast for the day or the month. It does have a 3-card spread, option 1, option 2, what needs to be considered, or it could be what another person may want, what you want, and where the conversation is heading. That's an interesting one. There is a 5-card spread which has got the present, the past, the current, future, unseen influences, and hidden potential, which is quite interesting here. So that's card 1. Okay, card 2 and 3, then 4 and 5. Okay, so we've got the present, the past, the current, future. Then you've got unseen influences and hidden potential, which is interesting. I quite like that one. And that looks like that's all the spreads from the guidebook, which is interesting. Let's just have a look at the energies of today. Let's have a look what we're going to do as a collective. What energies are going to influence us today? Let's have a look. What energies are influencing us today? Whoa! That flew out. Where did that go? Sorry, it's going to go for a dive under the table. And the card that flew out was 5 of Swords. Oh, there could be some challenges, some arguments today. Some sense, when you got 5 of Swords, for me, is that sense of arguments, quarrels, fights, some real challenges, some conflicts and things, mental challenges and things going on. So that could be the conflict today. So let's have a look. So we're asking the question, so we're having some conflicts. How do we deal with these conflicts? Let's have a look. How can we deal with these conflicts and challenges today? So we've got 5 of Cups, which is quite interesting, which tells us that we need to, in regard to these conflicts and challenges that we've got going on for today, we need to make sure that we are focused on being very aware of what we're actually focusing on emotionally. That's going to be super important here. Okay. So it's going to be a bit of a slow process. We need to sort of slow down a little bit today as we focus. You know, don't always be in a rush. I think we need to really sort of slow down. We have that sense of just taking our time, make sure we stay grounded in that energy. And then the last card we have here is, I think we need to strategize and plan. It's interesting because very, very interesting here. We get 2 5s and then 2 knights. So it's about moving forward slowly, making our plans where we need to be. It's about dealing with the battles. Interesting. And that comes from, so here you've got your 1 card for reflection, and then we've just used a 3-card spread to sort of give us an idea about how we can deal with what's going on. So we've got the 1 card for clarity. What's the theme of the day? Quarrels, quarrels, fights, that sort of thing. Okay, how do we deal with these fights, these quarrels, these conflicts and things that are going on today mentally? Okay, so we need to look at what are we focusing on emotionally. Okay, we've got to be careful not to worry about the spilt milk. Don't sweat the small stuff sort of energies just come through there. And that's to make sure that we plan and we strategize and we sort of take our time. We don't rush. We don't go into battle. We don't rush into battle. We make sure we're prepared before we rush into any battle. We make sure that we can sort of take a breath, take a minute to sort of get our ideas, our plans, how we can deal with this issue. So interesting there. So what I've done is I've combined that single card spread and then I've included a 3-card spread to get an overall picture. Interesting there. Okay, so that's just to give you a little bit of an idea of how you can adapt spreads that are in the guidebook with a reading for us energetically. Okay, so it's really important to sort of just use the spreads in the guidebooks as ideas or suggestions to maybe expand with your own or adapt with your own spread that you want to sort of create. It sort of gives you a base and then you can move from there. So the 1-card spread, and then I used the 3-card spread just to get a little bit more clarity about what this meant, you know, how I can overcome these quarrels or these conflicts. Be very aware of what am I actually focusing on when the quarrel or that starts. Then take a minute to sort of breathe, think about what am I actually focusing on in this situation emotionally. Make sure I sort of slow down for a minute, take a breath, think about the direction that I'm actually moving in, how I'm moving forward, and make sure I've got a plan or idea, that I'm not rushing into the battle, that I actually have a plan or an idea to move forward. Interesting, or we do as together. So yeah, you can use that either for yourselves and what's going on in your situation maybe. So let's just take a nice deep breath. Take a moment just to acknowledge, what am I focusing on right now? What is my focus mentally? What am I focusing on emotionally? Am I sweating the small stuff? Am I worrying too much about the small stuff emotionally? Okay. Am I slowing down? Am I taking a breath? Am I looking at what plans and strategies do I have in place to deal with these emotional conflicts, quarrels and challenges? Okay, that's it from me. Don't forget to check the links down below, check the links on my channel, like, subscribe and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care. Blessed be.